Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is fighting an existential war, one that he cannot afford to end, let alone lose, because if either of that happens, Netanyahu loses his office. And the big question is, how far will Netanyahu go in his quest to cling on to power? The signs that we are seeing tonight are extremely dangerous. SIPRI, or the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, says that Israel is working to modernize its nuclear weapon system. The modernization process reportedly began in recent months. Guess what else started in recent months? Israel's war in Gaza. 8 months and 38,000 plus deaths later, this war has now become crucial to Netanyahu's political existence. Like we told you yesterday, reports now say that Israeli Defense Forces had intel about the October 7 attacks. They knew that Hamas was planning to kidnap Israelis. It failed to stop the hostage crisis. The Netanyahu government failed to stop one of the worst attacks in the history. Bibi knows that he will be punished for his failure as soon as the war ends. Netanyahu's falling ratings, the backlash that he is facing at home, say as much. So the Israeli Prime Minister is finding ways to extend this existential war, including upgrading Israel's nuclear program. In fact, SIPRI says there is evidence that Israel is upgrading its plutonium for its nuclear reactor in Dimona. This is where Dimona is on the map. It is a southern town. It is near Dimona that Israel has its Shimon Peres Negev research facility. Its construction secretly started in the 1950s. It was during the midsummer 1960 that the US first learned of Israel's secret nuclear program at Dimona. Today, there is a nuclear reactor in Dimona. Also, underground laboratories that reprocess the reactor's spent rods to obtain plutonium. In fact, SIPRI claims Israel is reportedly upgrading its plutonium for its reactor in Dimona. The question is Israel preparing for the worst? And just who is the nuclear upgradation even aimed at? Look at what Israel's foreign minister wrote on the platform X. I'm quoting, "We are getting very close to the moment of deciding on changing the rules of the game against Hezbollah and Lebanon." Which rules is he really referring to? Nuclear? Israel has a policy of nuclear ambiguity. It neither confirms nor denies having nuclear bombs. So is Israel threatening an escalation, the kind of which has never been seen before? We don't know. What we can tell you is that the Israeli Defense Forces have approved operational plans for an offensive against Hezbollah. This is after Hezbollah released a 9-minute-long footage from its surveillance drone's flight over the city of Haifa. What happens next is the immediate question. You see, the Hezbollah are backed by Iran. They are part of Iran's axis of resistance. Declaring war on Hezbollah will pull in the other players of this axis. The Houthis, who are already fighting Israel and its allies at sea. The Badr organization, Kateb Hezbollah, and Aseb al-Haq in Iraq. The armed groups in Syria, they all will be pulled in when Israel actively goes to war with Hezbollah. What about Iran? Americans have reportedly warned the Israelis that continuing the exchange of fire with Hezbollah could lead to a wide-scale Iranian attack. Is Israel even in a position to defend itself from such an attack? The last time Iran sent drones and missiles to strike Israel, Americans, the British, the Jordanians had to join hands to defend Israel. So where is the guarantee that they will help once again? Jordan's king, remember, faced protests at home for helping Israel. What about the Americans? The White House has cancelled a high-level meeting with Israel. The two sides were supposed to discuss Iran. This meeting was scheduled for Thursday, that's tomorrow. But now Americans have backed out. And why is that? Because of this video. Take a look.
The administration has been withholding weapons and ammunition to Israel. Israel, America's closest ally, fighting for its life, fighting against Iran and our other common enemies.
Netanyahu's video claiming that the US is withholding military aid. Americans have clearly had enough. One Israeli official, in fact, told the media that the Americans are fuming. Another official in the US said Bibi is being punished for his stunts. Now, coming back to the question, will the Americans step in if Iran launches a wide-scale attack? Israeli daily Haaretz is reporting that US President Joe Biden's senior advisor, Amos Hochstein, has told Israeli officials that Tel Aviv will find it difficult to intercept a wide-scale Iranian attack. In other words, Israel needs to de-escalate. But how will de-escalation help Netanyahu? What helps Netanyahu is to project this situation as an existential threat. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.